Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mundane Matt, and I live in Portland, Oregon, and I love my city. It's a great city. Even though it's very left-leaning, there's a number of awesome people here from any walk of life. But one of the coolest things we have, one of our coolest beacons of tourism, is, believe it or not, Powell's Bookstore, which is right there in downtown, and it's this insanely huge bookstore that celebrates authors and artists and writers from all walks. You can find practically anything there. They cater to everyone. Yes, even though they are very much a liberal-esque bookstore, you can still find practically whatever you're looking for. And that's one of the reasons why it is so beloved. And people travel from all over the world just to come to Powell's. I know. Go fucking figure. I don't know if I'd ever plan a family vacation around traveling to like a game store that I want to go to, but if it was a personal thing, I'd probably go check it out. But not every bookstore is like that. And when it comes to Portland, a lot of people know Portland from the show Portlandia. And yes, it's a satirical look, or a satirical look at this particular city. And there's always the two ladies who run the Feminist bookstore, right? And they're kind of always mocked and laughed at and everything else. But they're kind of meant to be a certain mindset of kind of book owners. And that's what's happening. The idea of them is kind of why I want to talk about the story. So over there in Ohio at a place named Loganberry Books, which is a self-professed feminist-leaning bookstore, very similar to the two ladies that are in Portlandia. They sell new, used, and rare books. And they wanted to celebrate Women's History Month, which would be March, right? They wanted to celebrate that by doing something special for the ladies. What they decided to do was go through their bookstore and turn around every single book that was written by a man. So then it would just be the pages facing out. You wouldn't be able to see the name of the book or the author. And the only time you would be able to is if it was a female author. And that is precisely what they did. They did this to around 10,000 books. And I don't know about you, but when it comes to the topic of sexism, I would argue that's pretty sexist. Because if it was the other way around, if it was Men's History Month, which doesn't exist, we get International Men's Day, I think, in November, and that's, again, heavily mocked every single year by self-serving virtue signalers that just want to feel better about their place in life while putting other people down. I guess you could say that that's kind of the same thing for any online activist, but the point is, we get the one day, women get the whole month, right? Equality. But they said here that the reason why they did this was it's a metaphor for silencing the male voice, at least just for March. So for Women's History Month, instead of putting up displays of favorite authors and drawing the attention to them but still leaving everyone else alone, they went to go silence the male voice in order to promote women. I don't know about you, but that doesn't really seem to me like it's an equality thing. Kind of feels to me like it's very much a superiority thing. No, I get it. It's Women's History Month. I understand that. But I don't know about you, but if I walked into Powell's or any other bookstore here in town and they're doing the same thing, I wouldn't go back there. And I wouldn't do the same thing if they were doing it if it was International Men's Month or whatever the fuck it is. If it was the roles were reversed, I'd feel the exact same way. Because when you go to a bookstore, you are looking for either like a reference guide or a nonfiction or a fantasy or a young adult, or you have different reasons for going, right? Like I like to go to Barnes and Noble and take a look at their clearance section for like interesting books that might be on clearance of stuff I may not hear about yet, and mostly reference material because I like reading that kind of stuff. But if I went to Barnes and Noble and every single book that was written by a man was turned the fuck around, I wouldn't go back there. Because that's how you promote equality, right? You promote equality by having everyone be able to partake in the same thing. It's a two-way street. What Loganberry Books is doing is very much, you could argue, misandrist. That might be a bit strong of a term, but when they say that it's a metaphor for silencing the male voice, misandrist does come to mind. It does, just a little bit. Now, they said here that they want to give the floor and attention to women, and that you need to be able to hear them. And if someone else is talking over them, it just doesn't happen. Well, I hate to break it to the 8 female employees of Loganberry Books in Ohio, but unless you're listening to an audiobook, no one's talking over each other. Unless someone is narrating a book to you, no one is talking over each other. Books are fantastic because they're meant to be enjoyed in silence and in peace. You're meant to shut the world off around you and go into this tale, a tale that you may be familiar with or you may not know at all, with characters that you may like or hate or feel nothing towards in any way whatsoever. But it's an escape. It's a way to enjoy someone else's imagination for even if it's a brief amount of time. No one is talking over anyone. No one is trying to silence anyone. And by trying to sit there and push the agenda that by silencing the male voice, that it's a metaphor for women to be able to speak, I think you're going about it the really wrong way here. Now, I don't want to just come off as completely intolerant and call you fucking retarded, but it feels kind of like you're getting to that point. How is it that by doing this, by taking 10,000 books and turning them around, the ones that were written by men, turning them around, is going to give women the voice? You know? Because if it was me, again, if you tell someone they can't do something, right, or they shouldn't do something, they might find themselves looking in the other direction. It's kind of like when I go to 7-Eleven. I know, weird analogy, but hear me out. I go to 7-Eleven, and they've got the walls of DVD. They got a little row of DVDs, Blu-rays, whatnot, right? So they got those there. They got those out there, and you can't really see what's on the cover because they're called the treasure hunt. So you got to go digging for what you might want to watch. And you might come across one thing, oh, this looks pretty good. It's only $4. I could buy this. Then you keep digging, keep digging, keep digging. The ones that are on the front that they want you to see, that they want you to buy, may not be the best ones of the bunch. Those might be hidden further back. And so if you go to a bookstore and you're looking for, let's say, true crime, and you're looking around the true crime, fucking area, and you can't really find what you're looking for because all the fucking books are turned around, so you start pulling them out and looking at them, and pulling them out and looking at them. And you might even overlook the ones that are facing towards you because those ones are presented in a way that you can see. They're not hidden, they're not taboo, they're not forbidden, right? So the human psyche might actually work in the opposite way in this regard. You might actually find yourself selling more books that are turned around than ones that are facing outward. Because what you're doing is you're basically telling people that they can't make up their own mind. Instead of setting aside a display for Women's History Month and showcasing the books and authors that you want to showcase, you're telling people who go there that you have forbidden them to look at certain things, right? It's almost like when you go to the video store when you're a kid and you see the black curtain, you know what's there. It's porno, right? You still want to go back there and take a peek. It's forbidden. You can't do it. You're a kid. But you still want to take a look, and it's the same principle that applies to this. So if anything, you might find yourself in a situation where at the end of the month you realize that these books just haven't sold. Because instead of singling them out in their own display and driving everyone's attention to that through decorations or just clever marketing, you've made your entire store taboo outside of the ones you've selectively chosen. And since people out there like choice and they like to buy the forbidden or buy the unknown, they might find themselves drawn to those type of books, which might completely backfire your entire fucking project or your experiment. So I really hope you backpedal from this sexist and obviously misandrist approach to Women's History Month, and you just focus on the ones you want to showcase and then leave the rest alone. Because those authors, they did nothing to you. Those authors, they did nothing to anyone. They're there trying to do the same thing as the women you're trying to promote. They're trying to sell their books and live their life, and you are silencing them for no other reason than the fact that they have a male name, which is sexist. So yeah, you're a sexist. Well, that's something for you to deal with then. Anyway, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Would you go to this bookstore if you found out about it? Would you ever go there again? If you found out about it, would you buy anything from there? These are things I want to know. Go ahead and write them down in the comments. My name is, of course, Mundane Matt. I will talk to you guys later. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, and have a good day. Peace out.